Hey everybody. I was sitting here thinking about a recent post by I think it was on Kev on Stage's page, but it was talking about something that happened recently regarding comedian Monique. And it was just basically talking about how she made a post saying that women shouldn't come out of the house with hair bonnets and pajamas and house shoes and stuff like that. And she was talking about when the last time she went to the airport, she saw so many women dressed like that. And on the Kevin on Stage app, they talked about respectability politics and stuff like that. And I was thinking more about, I guess, not so much respectability politics or Kev on Stage or even Monique to that degree, but I was thinking more along the lines of the many different facets of help in regard to public appearance, because Monique said that she had taken on the honorary role of auntie and was saying that she would approach women, tap them on the shoulder, and if they were receptive, if they were dressed like that, encourage them to basically honor themselves more, or to have more pride about themselves, or take more pride in themselves. And she never accused anyone dressed in a bonnet or wearing pajamas of not having pride in themselves or not having self-respect for dressing like that. But she was just saying that it's a bad look. So my immediate response, I wasn't really offended, because I've heard of people, talking to people about, if there was something grossly inappropriate to them, some people feel compelled to go and talk to people. There are some people who would be offended and who would never say a word about it. I know here, when I had a brake light out one time, I got stopped in a period of like maybe a week. It was down for a little bit less than a week, but I got stopped no less than 4 or 5 times by different people telling me, "Oh, your brake light's out, your brake light's out, your brake light's out. Oh, your brake light's out." And I didn't take it any type of way like, "Oh, mind your business," and whatever, and get angry about it. I took it for what it was. I don't like to believe that people's everyday intention is to cause harm to people. I don't believe that people start their day by saying, "How could I offend or alienate a person, today?" And I think that I take that same approach in regard to not just Monique, but anyone who would say, that you're dressed inappropriately, or you're dressed in a way that's not becoming, or you're dressed in a fashion that seems like it would demean you or make you less of who you are, or less of who I believe you to be. I don't think it's necessarily a terribly rude thing. I think that all things can be done with tact, and like I learned last year, and a couple years ago, and have been sharing it. Tact is the art of making a point without making it an enemy. And I think that's a very, very good approach to go about it, because if there is something that compels you to speak out, not just in regard to the way that someone's dressing, but if you happen to come upon a person and you saw that, they were in bad shape, if they were, injured, or if they were, a homeless person, or whatever the case may be, if they were in a state that didn't seem appealing, a state that seemed like it was not good to you, some people, as I said, some people would walk up to that person and try to meet the need, try to offer them help, try to offer them assistance. Some people would just keep walking on by. And it doesn't mean that the person that offered assistance is more compassionate than the other person. Some people really don't want to step into the space where you feel like you're intruding on the other person's space. And I think that we need both types of people in the world. We need people that are willing to step into people's spaces and make a difference, and approach people if it's from a genuine place, to approach people and express their opinion. Now, that being said, when you do approach people, you do stand the risk of that person blowing up back to you and saying, mind your business and get out of my personal affairs and worry about your own life, you run the risk of that, whether you're doing something good or bad or indecent. You could tell a person like, oh, your shoe was untied, and they could snap off and cuss you out and who knows what else. But your attention might have been just to do something good. So in regard to helping, I think Monique, her intention was well. Some people didn't receive it well because they were like, well, you're not my auntie and this and all that. And she never said that she was everyone's auntie. She was saying that in a respectful fashion, that it is her belief that to dress like that, leaving the house, diminishes your character. So from the standpoint of she has no desire to see anyone with a diminished character, I can receive that. Now, some people may be offended that you don't tell me how to dress. I'm an adult, and that's all well and good. And you were an adult before she said anything to you. But I think that what I'll take away from it is that someone still cares enough to try to make an attempt. Now, whether you believe that attempt is right or wrong, she cared enough to put people in the best possible light. And I don't know if that falls along the lines of respectability politics, which was kind of related to being akin to a subset of white supremacy. I don't necessarily think that the origins of what Monique was doing and what people like that do is coming from a place of, I want to oppress you or only give you respect if you are dressed in a manner that I feel is appropriate. I think that in everyday life, there are standards for people, standards that we want to see people in their very best light. People are happy to see people doing well. People are happy to see people healthy, people that you care about. Now, if I cared about my family, my kids and my wife, if I came home and they were looking in a bad state, I think that because of that care, I would say something to them. Now, because of the relationship that we do have, I don't believe that they would receive it in a negative light. Now, if I had a heart that was big enough for all of my people, you know, all the people that look like me, all the people that I readily identified with, or all the people that I feel are culturally familiar to me, I might have a little bit more of a inkling to reach out to those people. If I saw those people, you know, doing a bad thing, if I saw kids in the neighborhood that were, you know, close to my son's age or close, I would want to tell them like, hey, you know, don't do this or don't do that. And they can listen to me or not listen to me. They could choose to cuss me out and say, mind your business, old man, or whatever they want to say. I think that it still would be coming from a good place. So I'm not super offended like some people were taking. She can't tell me what to do or what to wear. I don't believe she's just walking up to people, slapping people's hands or snatching bonnets off heads. It was her opinion that there's a better way to be, that there's a better desire. So I choose to think and take that perspective that Monique was trying to do a good thing. I don't think that she, in her attempt to do that, was intentionally trying to offend anyone. I believe that if she had approached the person and talked to them, you know, tapped them on the shoulder and told them what she felt about, you know, diminishing themselves, or it appears to be showing less than the best presentation of yourself, I think that she would be receptive if they said, no, I'm coming from here or there, or I just choose to dress like this. I don't think that she would press the issue like you have to acquiesce to my desires or my will because I'm a celebrity or I'm, you know, an auntie figure or an elder figure to some person. I believe that just like any other person, if she chose to make that step, which I don't fault her right or wrong, if she chose to make that step, I think that she'd be receptive if people said, okay, yeah, I hear you, or mind your business. I think she would say, okay, well, hey, that's your business, just my thought. You don't have to accept it or embrace it at all. Just my opinion. And I don't think that it's a horrible thing to hear someone else's opinion. She's not going, like I said, she's not physically going out and attacking people. I don't think that there's something so drastically wrong about wanting to see people in their absolute best light. Now, if you don't feel like she's the right person, or you wouldn't want her specifically talking to you, that's a different thing, because I think that there are always people who you would readily accept correction from, if that's a form of correction. If it was your grandmother or your mother, you might listen to them, or you might say the same thing, curse them out and tell them to go about their way. But I don't think it was a wholly bad thing for her to attempt to make a connection and attempt to reach out to people, to try to spread a little bit of a way that she felt that we could be better. And I don't think that that's a necessarily bad thing. Some people we can disagree on the manner in which she does it, but I think that we can't be afraid to talk to each other. Now, you can say that, well, she don't have to share her opinion. We can't be afraid to talk to each other. We have to be in a space where we can have dialogue, where I can state my opinion, you can receive or not receive it, and state your opinion back, and I can receive or not receive that. We got to be in a position where we can have dialogue with each other, because if we don't have communication and we don't have dialogue, we don't have respect for one another, and even worse, we don't have a perspective for the other person. We don't know where the other person is. We don't know where the other person is from a thinking standpoint. We don't know where they are from a mental state standpoint. We just want to make everybody better. So some people, again, were offended, and I'll do whatever I want. She can't tell me what to wear. And I don't think that she was even trying to do that. I don't believe that her intention on the start of that day was to change the dress code for Black women specifically across the globe from here on out. It was just something she noticed that she felt was not a good thing. Now, I imagine for her, it does change her dress code. She's not going to be doing things. She's not going to be dressing like that even before this, but I imagine even after that, she won't be doing that. And then people wanted to point out calling her a hypocrite because she was in a house cold when she did the video. But again, to her point, she was at her home. She wasn't out in public, which was her grievance. But again, I applaud her intent. And I think we should only be judging people on people's intent. Now, the methodology behind it or the manner in which you went about it, we can debate on that all day long. But I still do have to applaud her intent and the intent of lots of other people across the globe who are trying to come from a good place and may have had it miscommunicated or had it misinterpreted as it was carried out. But those are my thoughts for today. So you guys take it easy.